You ever leave the salon feeling like you just made the best decision since buying those stretchy jeans, only to get home, catch a glimpse in the bathroom mirror, and wonder when you accidentally signed up for the triangular helmet look? Been there. I once spent an entire summer patting down the sides of my hair, trying to convince myself it was chic volume, not sideways expansion. Spoiler, it wasn't. Welcome, my friend, to Glow After 60, where we believe beauty doesn't have to shout to be stunning, and where experience has taught us that the loudest haircut in the room isn't always the one that makes you feel the most like you. Today, we're diving into something I wish I'd figured out sooner: the art of quiet beauty. The haircuts that don't demand attention, but somehow, magically, earn it anyway. The kind that frame your face, lift your spirit, and make you feel like yourself on a really, really good day. We'll talk about the tiny tweaks that make a big difference, like why heavy layering might not be doing us any favors anymore, and why a little softness around the edges can be the real fountain of youth. Oh, and if you've ever clung to an old haircut out of pure loyalty, guilty, you're in very good company. So grab your coffee, kick off your shoes, and let's swap some stories, some laughs, and a few hard-earned lessons about looking and feeling quietly gorgeous at any age. Because trust me, you deserve a haircut that doesn't just look good in salon lighting. It should look good in the grocery store, at brunch, in the selfie your granddaughter snaps when you're not ready. Ready to rethink the usual? Let's start with one little myth we've all believed for way too long. 1. The myth of the bigger the better. Speaking of myths, let's talk about why that had a serious grip on us back in the day. The bigger the hair, the better the woman. Honestly, with the amount of hairspray we used, we could have single-handedly repaired the ozone layer. I used to believe that the higher my hair, the closer I was to fabulous. So I teased, I sprayed, I fluffed, until my reflection started looking less sophisticated and more confused weather system. If you've done this too, you're in very good company. No shame. We were all working with the advice we had, and a can of Aquanet the size of a fire extinguisher. And here's the twist. Turns out, when we add too much volume in the wrong places, especially now, it doesn't just add height, it adds weight. Visually, I mean. It can pull our features down instead of lifting them up. And suddenly, that full fluffy crown we wanted is dragging everything south. Because apparently, our hair didn't get the memo that gravity is already doing enough on its own. Instead, try this. Think lift at the roots, softness at the sides, and movement that's natural, not stiff. A subtle lift around the crown, not a skyscraper, can open up the face and bring a fresh lightness that feels easy, not effortful. Picture this. You're walking into brunch, and instead of worrying about your hair collapsing halfway through your omelet, you're just glowing, relaxed, real, radiant. And if your old teasing comb is still hiding in a bathroom drawer somewhere, don't worry. Mine is too. Right next to a glittery headband from 1987. Next up, the quiet power of the soft sweep, and why it might just be the most flattering trick nobody told us about. 2. The soft sweep secret. You ever catch yourself tucking your hair behind your ears? Again and again and again. Yeah, me too. For the longest time, I thought it was just a nervous habit, like rechecking the oven even though I know it's off. But here's the kicker. That constant tucking, it's usually our hair trying to tell us something, namely, that it wants to move. It wants to frame, not fight our faces. Heavy bangs, chunky layers, all those straight, stiff edges we used to think looked sleek. They can actually weigh things down, hiding the parts of us that deserve a little spotlight. What feels better now? A soft sweep, a gentle side part, a few wispy pieces grazing the cheekbone. That little effortless tuck that stays put without a wrestling match. It's not about hiding the face. It's about hugging it lightly. Think less wall of hair, more whisper of shape. I had a stylist once who called it air kissing your face. It sounded ridiculous at the time. Now, it's my favorite kind of kiss. The real beauty? A soft sweep doesn't just flatter. It frees you. Less adjusting, less sticky hairspray moments. More moments when you feel like yourself. Without the mirror micromanagement. If you're still wrangling bangs that act like a stage curtain, hang tight. Because next, we're spilling the truth about blunt cuts. And why they might be the sneakiest culprits of all. 3. The blunt cut trap. I once thought the smartest thing I could do was chop it all off. You know, one clean, sharp, no-nonsense line. I figured, less fuss, less fluff, more modern. Well, let's just say I spent that entire year trying to convince myself my new look was intentional. Meanwhile, every time I caught my reflection, it screamed, square, but make it sad. If you've been there too, you are definitely not alone. We were told for years that a blunt cut was the answer to everything. Thin hair, aging hair, fine lines, bad moods, taxes. Okay, maybe not taxes, but it sure felt that way. And here's the twist. A sharp, heavy line can actually drag our features down after 60. Instead of crisp and youthful, it can look blocky, boxy, almost like a picture frame that's just a little too heavy for the photo inside. Because hair, just like everything else at this stage, needs a little softness to stay in harmony with the rest of us. Not rigid borders, gentle flow. If you're craving a fresh feel, ask for a few softened ends instead. Think of it like whispering at the edges, not shouting. A few airy layers, a little movement around the jawline, enough shape to feel alive, but not so much structure that you start to look like you're wearing a hair helmet. Imagine it. You're out walking the dog. The breeze catches just a few strands, and instead of flapping like a sail, your hair moves with you. Natural, easy, like you didn't even try. But oh, you know you did, just smartly. And if you're still secretly holding on to the dream of the perfect sharp bob, no judgment. Mine's still saved in my someday Pinterest board too. Next, we're tackling a sneaky little sabotage move. Why just letting it grow out? Sometimes backfires in ways they don't tell you on shampoo commercials. 4. The just let it grow gamble. If you've ever said, I'll just let it grow and see what happens, first of all, welcome. You're among friends here. I've muttered those exact words more times than I can count, usually while glaring at a calendar and thinking, how bad can it get by summer? Spoiler, it can get creative. The truth is, just growing it out sounds effortless. In theory, it's freeing. In practice, it's like setting a garden loose without a plan. Charming at first, then, suddenly, you're battling a thicket. 1 month, your hair's skimming your jaw like a sweet little bob. 2 months later, it's dragging your whole face downward faster than a late-night infomercial deal. Here's why. Without a few intentional shape-ups along the way, hair doesn't grow out. It grows outward, sideways, downward, into strange little shelves and ledges no one asked for. And unfortunately, gravity is an overachiever after 60. What works better? Gentle, regular trims. Even if you're growing it longer, a tiny snip here and there keeps the shape moving with you, not against you. Think of it like guiding a vine up a trellis. A little redirection keeps everything blooming toward the light, without looking like it's trying to strangle the fence. And no, you don't have to schedule a full salon day each time. Sometimes a 5-minute cleanup is all it takes to save your whole season. So if you've been quietly waiting for your hair to found itself, maybe give it a nudge, a soft one, like tucking a wayward flower back into the bouquet. And if the idea of scissors still makes you flinch, hang tight, because next we're getting into one of my favorite secret weapons, the magic of the hidden lift. 5. The hidden lift magic. I didn't even know what a hidden lift was until my stylist casually dropped the phrase mid-snip. At the time, I just nodded like I understood. Kind of like when my granddaughter talks about her phone apps. Smile, nod, pretend you're not utterly lost. Turns out, a hidden lift is one of the best-kept secrets for women like us who want volume, without looking like we're hosting a bird's nest. Here's how it works. Instead of piling volume on top like a frosted cake, a hidden lift builds a little soft support from underneath. Tiny layers you can't even see at first glance. They don't scream styled. They just quietly say, "Hi, I'm awake, and yes, I do feel fabulous today." And the real kicker, it doesn't take much. A few light layers near the crown, a little teasing with your fingers, not a comb from 1984. And voila, instant freshness without the helmet vibe. Because let's be honest, after 60, we're not looking to battle our hair into submission every morning. We're looking for hair that moves with us. On a windy day, during a grocery store run, in a family selfie we didn't know was happening. A hidden lift gives you that. And if you're sitting there wondering whether your current haircut could use a little undercover help, ask me how I know. There's still a photo somewhere of me looking like I tried to balance a lampshade on my head, not my finest hour. Next, we're sneaking into a classic comfort zone. Why all one length feels safe, but might secretly be setting us up for the hair equivalent of orthopedic shoes. A little sparkle without the shouting. 6. The one-length trap. Let's be honest. There's something deeply comforting about a good, solid, all one-length haircut. No layers to fuss with. No weird, flippy pieces. Just simple, clean, classic. I stuck with it for years. Longer than I stuck with my first cordless phone. Because it felt safe. Reliable. Like the hair equivalent of a sturdy pair of loafers. And here's the truth nobody really warned us about. What feels safe at 30 can start to feel heavy at 60. Literally and visually. See, when all your hair falls to the same point, it can drag your whole face downward. It can box in your features, making everything look a little flatter, a little droopier, and not in the charming, I've lived a life kind of way. Ask me how I know. There's a photo of me at my niece's graduation where my hair and my face look like they're racing each other to the floor. The fix? Nothing drastic, just a little lightness. Maybe a few gentle layers around the face. Maybe a bit of lift at the crown. Maybe just enough movement to say, yes, I'm seasoned, but I'm still sparkling. And no, you don't have to give up length if you love it. This isn't about chopping it all off. It's about letting the shape breathe. Imagine wearing a favorite scarf. It's still wrapped around you, but not wound so tight that you feel like you're being hugged by a python. That's the kind of freedom your haircut deserves too. And if your heart is still clinging to that straight across cut, don't worry. I still have a framed photo of my all one-length phase somewhere. I just keep it safely in a drawer, next to my collection of good ideas at the time. Coming up next, the sneaky way old habits sneak into new cuts, and how to spot them before they sabotage your fresh look. 7. Old habits in new haircuts. Old habits die hard, especially the ones we don't even realize we have, like how we treat a new haircut like it's still the old one. I can't tell you how many times I walked out of the salon with a fresh, airy cut, only to go home and start styling it exactly the way I always had. Round brush, maximum lift, extra hairspray. Basically, forcing it back into its old life like a retired show dog. It wasn't until my daughter caught me mid-hairspray cloud one morning and said, "Mom, if you're still doing the same thing, do you even have a new haircut?" that it hit me. Teenagers, brutal, but occasionally brilliant. See, Even the best, quietest, most beautiful cut can't shine if we drag all our old habits along for the ride. When we layer on old routines, too much teasing, too much flattening, too much fixing, we smother the freshness right out of it. It's like getting a brand new cozy sweater and immediately shrinking it in the wash because you still think everything is tough enough for hot water. The better way? Let the new cut show you how it wants to move. Be curious, not controlling. Use your fingers more, your curling iron less. Trust at a little mess can look more modern and a lot less forced. Because sometimes the real glow-up isn't just in the haircut, it's in how you let it live. And if you're sitting there wondering whether you've been guilty of this too, no judgment. The round brush from my big hair days still haunts my bathroom drawer. Coming up next, the final piece of the puzzle, how embracing a little imperfection can make you look and feel lighter, freer, and more radiant than any perfect style ever could. 8. The beauty of a little imperfection. You know what nobody tells you when you're younger? That one day, perfect is going to look a lot less interesting than real. I used to believe every hair had to be in place before I walked out the door. Ask me how many times I was late to brunch because of one stubborn cowlick. But somewhere along the way, somewhere between the laugh lines and the life lessons, I realized there's a kind of beauty that only shows up when you stop wrestling everything into place. That little flip at the ends? Charming. That piece that doesn't quite stay behind your ear? Alive. That tiny wave that appears out of nowhere after a misty morning walk? Honestly, it's better than anything a curling iron could fake. When we stop chasing polished perfection and start allowing a little softness, a little movement, a little "this is me," something magic happens. We look lighter, freer, more open, not younger by the numbers maybe, but younger in the way that matters. Because here's the quiet truth. The goal isn't to rewind the clock. It's to feel so comfortable in your own skin and your own hair that you forget to care what time it is. And if you're still worried that a few imperfect strands might make you look messy, remember, a woman who wears her life with ease is never truly out of style. Coming up next, a few parting fonts, and why your next haircut might just be the most quietly beautiful one yet, a quiet confidence cut. So if you've made it this far, first of all, you're officially part of the Glow After 60 inner circle. The one where we swap stories, laugh at ourselves, and quietly glow brighter every year. We've talked about the myths we believed, the habits we clung to, and all those little tweaks that once upon a time might have sounded scary. But now they feel like gifts. Because here's the real secret. You don't need the big reveal haircut. You don't need a transformation moment. You just need small, smart shifts that help your natural beauty breathe a little easier. The goal isn't to chase youth. It's to honor where you are, with a haircut that feels like it was made for the life you're living now. One that moves when you move, frames what's worth framing, and doesn't need a gallon of mousse or a pep talk every morning. So if you've been wondering whether it's time to rethink the usual, maybe it's not about reinventing yourself. Maybe it's just about revealing the version of you that's been quietly waiting. The one who glows, softly, steadily, beautifully. And if you're ready for more real-world, real women beauty wisdom, hit that subscribe button. Join our Glow After 60 family and stay tuned, because we're just getting started. And trust me, the best kind of beauty, it only gets better from here.